Hey, Dan.
Hey Bob, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Just
That's
trying to
good.
keep up. I'm sure you're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello? Hi, I'm here to join a zoning meeting.
Okay, the meeting hasn't quite started yet.
All right, but I haven't signed in.
Oh, what's up, Paul?
I'm not sure. That person didn't identify themselves.
Well, you didn't ask
Yeah,
me
they're
to.
calling. Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
I can put your name in where you called in, miss, if you'd like.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
name should I put?
I'm sorry, my name is Carolyn Miranda, Miranda.
Okay, I have your
And
name in here.
I'm at 2 Biscayne Boulevard. This is a zoning board meeting, right?
Yes.
You're correct.
Okay, so I'll be able to hear you?
That's correct.
All righty, thank you.
I just ask you to mute your phone if you're not speaking.
Yes, okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Carol.
you. Yeah.
No problem.
Here we go.
I know.
We'll give it a few more minutes, Dan. We've got our 4 permanent members here so far.
Yeah, I know Jane. Excuse me, Mr. Byer, Richard Byer, could you mute yourself, please? We're getting feedback from you.
Mute.
Yeah, Paul, we're just waiting for Jane, and I know Jane will be on because Kim dropped off all the stuff for her at her
Okay.
office. So I can try calling her in a minute if she's not on.
I'll give her a couple more minutes. Oh, Maria's on. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Paul. Hi, everyone.
Tammy, Mike,
Hey, Maria.
Alan. I saw there's Alan. Yep.
Hey, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Jane should be logging on in about a minute or so.
Okay. All right. We're gonna wait.
I'm here now, just so you know. Michael Barnes.
Oh, okay. Hello, Mr. Barnes.
Can you hear me, Paul?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Alan.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Tammy is here. Tammy, can we hear you?
We're on.
Tammy?
Hi.
Okay, can hear you. We're just waiting for Jane to come on.
Okay.
Ah, there is Miss Marsh.
Yes,
Hi,
sorry.
Jane. Okay. Then I believe we can begin. Good evening, everyone. This is the June meeting of the Old Lyme Zoning Commission. It is Monday, June 14th. We have at today's meeting our 5 permanent members. That would be Jane Marsh, Alan Todd, Mike Miller, Tammy Tenorello, myself, Paul Orzel. Joining us this evening also are our 2 alternates, Maria Martinez and Mr. Michael Barnes. Okay. With that, then we can begin. Our first item on the agenda is the continuation of a public hearing, and this is for the special permit to construct 3 10,500 square foot commercial buildings for the purpose of renting units for business service establishments and storage on property located at 250 Shore Road. CNS Realty LLC is the applicant. First stop, Madam Secretary, is there anything new?
I don't think there is, because I don't see anything here, but I see the stuff for 96 Halls Road. For Kathy Ann Schulte,
Okay,
12 Ton the Hague. Let me see if I got anything for. Oh, I don't have anything new from that was dropped off here for that one.
okay.
Hey,
We do have a revised statement of use. Did you get that, Jane?
I don't think so.
oh, so I emailed you that, Jane. I think we included that in the packets, but we also got a petition.
In the packet is only three items.
Okay,
So-
I'm sorry that didn't get to you, but yeah, so, we got a petition, that'll be Exhibit H, from citizens in the area, against, the proposed, application. And then we also got a revised statement of use I emailed out at like 4 o'clock. That is Exhibit I.
Just for clarification, is it a petition to intervene or just a petition?
It's a petition
Uh,
against.
It's just a petition against, not an intervener. And so I think we had forwarded that had gotten emailed out by Kim. Or should have.
All right, I see the thing that I got emailed at 4 o'clock.
Okay, but you didn't get the petition?
No, I mean, if it was in
Okay.
the afternoon, I haven't been able to look at my,
Yes, I have a feeling Kim forgot to send that out to you guys. It's a petition with quite a few signatures.
I'm wrong. It is here. I just didn't recognize it. So I have it.
You have the
Okay,
petition,
you
Jane?
do.
Yes, I do.
It's from
Yeah,
Carolyn
I'm not sure if
Miranda.
you have the. I'm not sure if you have the updated statement of use in your packet. That was gotten emailed to you. That came in too late for us to get that over to you.
Did Jane, so do you have that, Jane, or?
I think she got a connection issue again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Until
so
we can get,
Jane does have, just not the statement of use got emailed to her. So the petition is Exhibit H, and the statement of use, the new revised one is Exhibit I.
all right. Okay, well, until Jane gets back on, I will ask. Is there someone else talking, or are we not muting everything?
Call in user 5, could you, I might have to mute them. If you're on the phone, could you please mute yourself, unless you're speaking? Otherwise, I'll have to mute.
Okay.
I gotta mute calling user 6. And 5 may be muted later, but go ahead, Paul.
Okay, so I will ask Mr. Doan if he could go ahead and review the revised statement of use for us and present any additional information.
Certainly. Good evening. For the record, I'm Bob Doan, here on behalf of CNS Realty. And first of all, it's I want to clarify one thing. It's C and ampersand S Realty LLC. It had been transcribed onto the plan as CNS, but it's C and S. But anyway, on the revised statement of use, it's essentially the same except for the middle paragraph, and I'll read that. It is proposed to lease the units or combination of the units for self-storage units or business service establishments. The self-storage unit facility underlined per definition number 159 is, in quotes, a one-story building with visual screening buffer, a minimum 15 feet in a C30 and C30S by special permit. A business service establishment, also underlined, per definition number 26, is an establishment which is not a home occupation where commercial service is provided either on or off-site, including but not limited to landscaping service, telephone answering services, secretarial service, but excluding motor vehicle service and/or repair, close quotes. The facility will be open 24 hours a day for access to the storage units. The hours of operation for the business service establishments will be subject to the tenant and all applicable zoning regulations. There will be no retail businesses. And the most significant thing in that paragraph is specifically eliminating retail business. We had said at the last meeting that there would not be retail businesses as it is not part of a business service establishment. In addition to the statement of use is revised to today's date, 6/14/21. We have received a copy of the petition that was sent, and I would like to take this opportunity to respond to the 7 items that were listed in the petition. Decrease, number 1, decrease in the value of our residential properties. I would like to stress that the zone we are in is a C30 zone. It's a commercial 30 zone, and we are on the north side of Shore Road, and it is a business zone, and we are proposing a commercial business that is in compliance with the regulations. Number 2, environmental concerns. The negative impact of 3 septic tanks producing waste, sewage, and overflow of leaching fields on the previously identified fragile areas. We have done testing on the property with Ledgelight Health District. And since the last meeting, we've done additional soil testing on the site per request of the sanitarian. And we are in the process of addressing the concerns of the Ledgelight Health District. And I think it's incorrect to say that overflow of leaching fields, the sanitary systems will be designed in accordance with the current public health code. And we will not design a sanitary system that is over the capacity of the site. We're proposing 3 sanitary systems on site, And in my opinion, each one complies with the current public health code. And we're addressing some issues that were brought up by Wendy Arnold, the sanitarian. Number 3, environmental concerns, the runoff and potential damage to Swan Brook and surrounding residential wells. We have designed the site with a recharge of the first inch of runoff to address the stormwater management. I have spoken with Tom Metcalf recently, and he has asked that I address some additional concerns of his, and we will be meeting out on the site to go over his concerns and address them hopefully prior to the next meeting. Number 4, environmental concerns, the destruction of the ambiance of our surrounding neighborhoods caused by the increased noise level, commercial traffic, and activity at 250 Shore Road. We have an application in before the Department of Transportation. They will determine the position of the driveway and acceptance of the driveway. We have adequate sight line in either direction. And again, I stress that this is a commercial property. Number 5, environmental concerns, pollution caused by increased heavy-duty truck traffic along Route 156. The traffic that we will be producing, I would not classify it as heavy-duty trucks. There may be some triaxles, etc., coming in and out of the site. But our traffic will be in accordance with the current zoning regulations and the uses that are allowed in the zoning regulations. Number 6, the health and safety of residents of the community. Are there adequate fire, police, medical, and disaster management resources available to effectively respond to any emergency that may occur at 250 Shore Road? This application also gets reviewed by emergency personnel in the town, and they will be responding to that item. 6B is the increased traffic caused by this building project will diminish the safety of joggers, bicyclists, and other pedestrians who use Route 156 daily and consistently throughout the year. Is there somebody talking in? Was there a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you're a call-in user, please mute yourself. If not, I will have to mute. Whoever just called in, please mute your phone. If not, I'll have to mute you.
I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
Bob.
Okay. Again, this is being reviewed by the Department of Transportation. The traffic that we are proposing, they're all licensed vehicles and are licensed to travel on the Shore Road. And they, as well as they being the traffic generated from this site, as well as every vehicle traveling on the Shore Road, must be aware of joggers and bicyclists, because I agree there are joggers and bicyclists on Shore Road, particularly along the beach communities. And number 7, the question and concerns raised by citizens and the zoning board members at the May 10th, 2021 meeting and recorded in the minutes of that meeting. I would like to point out that in reviewing the minutes, there was one comment that the business service establishment and the storage are not allowed per section 4.15, which involves mixed uses on a property. And I would like to refer to that regulation. And just to make sure it's in the record and that gets that statement gets clarified. The statement starts out in this section 4.15 of your current zoning regulations, no more than one principal use on a lot, except in a planned residential conservation development per section 12 of these regulations, and in commercial C30, commercial C30S, commercial C10, and light industrial districts. And it towards the end of the section, I'll jump ahead. In the commercial C30, which we are, commercial C30S and commercial C10 district, upon approval of the commission as a special permit pursuant to section 13B of these regulations, there may be more than one principal use on a lot. And I refer to that regulation, and we are proposing storage, which is allowed under section 5.10.3 of your regulations, and business service establishments, which are allowed under the same regulation. I won't go through and discuss the specific details on our site plan. I think we covered that at the last meeting. And with that, I will stop and answer any questions that may come up. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob. I have several questions that I would like to ask, but I will probably let the commission members ask their questions first, and then I can kind of come in and do the cleanup position.
If Dan, is it possible to share screen?
It is, Bob. Go ahead.
Thank you. I should have shared it before, but I just took right off.
Okay. Would any commission member like to go first? Have a burning desire to go first?
Oh, I'm having trouble sharing here. There we go. Can you all see that?
Yes, I can. Yep. Okay. Since there's no burning desire, I'll take the burning desire here. In reading the statement of use, Bob, again, I'm going to take the position, in my case, that it's not specific enough, and I believe that there's too much ambiguity in it, otherwise known as too much wiggle room. The first question I have is in the second paragraph. It says the storage of hazardous material will not be allowed on site, which will be specific in the lease agreement. Excuse me. Specific, I don't understand the word specific. Is that prohibited? Will there be penalties and or fines if discovered? How do you go about monitoring and policing that?
Okay, it will be, maybe I didn't word that correctly, but it will be specifically worded in the lease agreement. And I just picked up that wording from a previous statement of use that we did for a storage facility adjacent to the old Cherry Stones. But if you'd like that to be stronger, we have no hesitation to make it stronger. It is.
I just think it needs to have a little bit more muscle, and there needs to be some sort of a penalty or some sort of incentive for them to comply.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yep.
And then going on to the second sentence for security personnel, excuse me, there's no outside So this was the first part of the sentence was no storage of hazardous material, but I don't see any language in here that indicates that there's no outside storage of any kind at the facility. And that the zoning regulation kind of makes the determination, if any, on storage, and that's kind of in 13B 4.1.3E.
Okay,
So I thought at last month's meeting, there was an indication that there would be no outside storage of any type material.
um, I will review that with, my client and clarify that at the next meeting. We do have space in the northeast corner of the property behind building number 2 and to the right of building number 3, where we have the gravel parking area and outside storage area. So it was always intended to have some outside storage area, and we can be more specific with that. If I stated that there was not, I misstated, because I do show on the plan that we have an area for outside storage.
Okay, I at least understood that that was going to be a drop-off point for some material and then be taken care of, and it wouldn't be any long-term type storage.
It is a dual use area. It's that area is where the delivery trucks that cannot back up to the individual garage doors would offload. But I'll take a look at the section 13B 4B. I didn't get the whole thing, but I'll take a look at that regulation and be more specific on the outside storage.
Okay, and that's going to lead to some other additional questions for me as well.
Okay,
Because there's too much nebulous data that I don't quite understand. We're saying that the parking area has been sized to accommodate full occupancy by the business establishments. Yes, yet I don't know how you make that determination. And do you have empirical data or a basis for saying that there's enough parking for everybody in here? That tends to give me the impression that you know exactly what's coming in there, and you know how they're going to operate, but it's not being stated.
we do not know exactly what's going in there. These are rental commercial units. We do not have tenants at this time. And what we did is we went through and assigned a general parking number for the facility, and it's a number that I've designed several of these facilities, and it's a number that works with this type of facility where you don't know the specific tenant, but it's we're able to average the number of parking spaces per unit, and it's worked in the past, and I have no reason to think it wouldn't work here. As the units fill up, the landlord certainly has the right to, if somebody comes in and they need 10 spaces and there are only half a dozen more spaces left, then that becomes an issue. We do have room in the gravel parking area and outside storage area to add a significant number of additional parking spaces. And I might add that those can be added without increasing any impervious area and it would not affect our stormwater management study. Or would it affect the sanitary systems?
Okay. What is the plan for controlling truck traffic? Is that a 24-hour-a-day operation? Is there a plan that a tractor trailer could get there at 11, 12 o'clock at night and park idling all night until someone offloads the load?
I will have to review that with my client. That's not a typical situation, but as you describe it, that if a delivery does come in, and there would have to be some control of that, because we discussed the hours, and I think at the last meeting I said sun up to sundown, but that is no longer the case. That is not what the client would like, because we do not know the tenant. We cannot put in hours at this time, and we will try to address that scenario of a truck coming in and offloading.
So then that leaves me with a picture of this becoming a 24-hour depot operation.
Well, that is a severe interpretation of a facility where we have multiple units and we expect to have multiple uses, and some of them storage, and we're trying to accommodate the landscaper and the smaller businesses, and not have a 24-hour truck depot. That is really not in the works, and to paint that picture is, I think, wrong, and we'll modify or massage the statement of use so that it precludes that.
Without gates on either morning or evening or opening and closing, there is no control over when those trucks can come in, or anyone, for that matter, any business or storage facility could come in. If there's a moving company that's come in off of a long haul from somewhere at 11 or 12 o'clock at night, there could be an offloading or a loading situation, which is going to add to the noise level if there's no hours of operation. That's
Okay.
just my feeling. That's what I've got. Another thing that disturbs me also is having a restroom in every single unit. I don't understand why a restroom would be needed in a storage facility. If I look at other storage facilities in anywhere, there's usually a restroom in the office, and that's about it.
Yep.
So that's another alarm in my head that there's something in this plan that's not being disclosed, that it's nebulous.
We have no hidden agenda here. Rest assured. The reason we show the potential bathroom per unit is because we show the potential of each of these 875-foot spaces being a separate unit, and not just for storage, for a commercial use. And so to not have the potential for a bathroom for a business use, it would not be prudent. If we combine the bathrooms, we could make a common bathroom for each facility, and we can explore that. That was actually discussed with the client today, and we'll explore that further if that would ease your mind, if you will, about some hidden agenda. We could do that. We have set up facilities, again, like this before, and not all the bathrooms get built. If you have a storage unit, you do not need a bathroom for it. You're absolutely correct. And we will explore common facilities.
I'd like to see another option,
Okay, all right.
just as a comparison point.
Yep, okay.
Okay, I'm going to ask the zoning commission if they have any questions. I've asked several. Anyone else?
I have a question.
Tammy? Go
Yeah,
ahead, Tammy.
Bob, is it common to have 24 hours on these storage units typically, or is this just something different?
No, that it's typical is 24 hours. The two storage units that are just to the west of this property are 24 hours.
Okay.
One's yet to be built. And that was 24 hours. That was the one near Cherry Stones is it's approved for storage units, 24-hour use, self-storage, and that one is not gated. I think the one in between this site and that site is gated, but you have 24-hour access.
Okay. And this one is gated?
This one is not gated. And we have one issue, is the 40-foot right-of-way on the left-hand side of the site. That's a right-of-way that serves two houses along that side, 3 residential properties on that side.
I have a follow-up question related to that.
Go ahead, Alan.
Oh, that's Alan? Okay.
That's Alan.
Okay.
Your statement of use in the first paragraph says the buildings will be accessed by gravel drives with 2 access points. If the DOT in their consideration of whatever you've sent to them restricts it to 1 access and doesn't allow 2 access points, how would you deal with that on the circulation for all of these units?
Yes, Alan. And if the DOT says that we're restricted to this access because that is the 40-foot right-of-way, what we would have to do then is probably, if DOT would allow it, retain this for just the residential properties and remove this connection and this connection. That is certainly not a desirable case because this access is very important for what I think it's very important for the circulation into the site. We could eliminate the center driveway, make this the primary, and just have a driveway that wraps around here and connects the ends running across here, and then move our screening further out in between Shore Road and our buildings, and this would become the primary access. I stated during the previous meeting that I have the primary access opposite Flagler Avenue because typically the DOT requests that you set up T intersections right across from each other. But this access obviously is existing and will not be removed. But if we had to, we could make this the primary and circulate around. But we have not received a response, Alan, from DOT, but we'll see what they say.
When you're going to get the response?
Pardon me?
You know when you will receive that response from DOT?
No, I don't. They're supposed to be going back in and the offices are supposed to be opened up. I was able to deliver actual paper copies to Norwich, so hopefully they're back up to speed, but I'll be in touch with them before the next meeting.
Yeah, I think we should know what their
Not right.
determination is, and I think we should hear from
Oh, absolutely.
Tom, what, how he considers things based on the engineering viewpoint, and we need to know that before we can make a reasonable determination as a commission.
Certainly. Yep. Understood.
I had a, I'm sorry, Tammy, did you want to go add a few
Yeah.
questions?
So Bob, I have a couple of notes here. There's storage units in East Lyme and Waterford, and their hours of operation are 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Is that something that your client would consider, or does he want 24 hours, or she?
I will ask my client right now. It was very specific to be 24 hours, but I'll check with him, Tammy. And that was in East Lyme?
Yep, in Waterford.
Okay.
Cross Road on Waterford, and then in East Lyme by Starbucks.
Okay, thank you.
You done,
Mike.
Tim?
Go ahead,
Hi,
Mike.
yeah. I'm looking at the original statement of use, and I think it's incorporated in the new statement of use. And I keep hearing the term storage unit, but the statement of use is a business service establishment and storage. So in my mind, I kind of see this as sort of an office park for folks maybe in more contracting like businesses than straight office work. Is that the plan? Because it seems like there's office space and each small unit will have its own bathroom, and it seems to be large enough to fit a service utility like a contractor's vehicle as well. Is that really what the design of this is?
The design, we think it would be advantageous and nice to have contractors in each of the units, service contractors, and the building is set up for that.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. We have two other storage units right down the road. Those are your typical storage units, and we keep using the phrase storage unit for this. It's not really a storage unit. It's going to be individual businesses to operate, I'm assuming a small amount of employees, and the ability to store their truck, supplies, plumbing equipment, supplies, whatever the contracting business is. And so is that the statement of use? Is that the type of tenant you're looking for?
It would be yes. For a short answer, yes, we would encourage a contractor, a landscaper, electrician, or somebody who does most of their work off-site, all of their work off-site. There's nothing to work on here other than if you're putting together an order or something like that, and you're heading out with your truck to do landscaping at a property, that would be the prime tenant, if you will. But these units are available for just storage. If you wanted to store a boat, for example, and you needed to have an overhead door, you could back the boat up into this site and use the 875 feet for just storage if you wanted to.
But I imagine someone that wanted to just store equipment would find a much cheaper place to do that. This looks like it's a higher end type facility with the ability to run an office and storage. So somebody that just wants to use storage, I'm guessing they can find someplace cheaper to
Yep.
just store. Okay. And then
And that-
with respect to hazardous materials, in another life, I used to do real estate law. I have to imagine the leases, if they're not already done, are going to contain multiple clauses and paragraphs about the restrictions on hazardous materials. Is that what you have in mind when you prepare leases for the tenants coming in?
That's correct.
So, and those leases tend to be very wordy, drawn out. Would it be possible to maybe include a proposed or a draft lease that you intend to use? Because I think the language that would actually be in a lease would be far too expansive to put into a statement of use. Would that be fair to say?
That is fair to say.
And with respect to hours of operation, I think there's strong concerns, like our chairman said. I don't think we want to see an 18-wheeler pull in there at 2 a.m. running its engine until they offload at 5 a.m. So I think what we really need to hear as a commission is we really don't have a warm and fuzzy on what type of tenants may be going in there. And I think the alarm bells might be going off as to the extent of traffic that might be in the site. So I think maybe just tightening up what potential hours of operation, or maybe limiting if somebody wants to run in there at 2 o'clock in the morning because they forgot something, that's understandable. Having an 18-wheeler parked there overnight with the engine running would be unacceptable. So I think we just need to have some idea of what the hours of operation are going to look like after normal business hours, what's going to be allowed there and what's not going to be allowed there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yep. Thank you very much.
And to piggyback on what Mike said about clients, do you have a client base list waiting for this facility to be built? And if not, what kind of market research do you have that makes this an enticing construction project?
For that, I will have to defer to my client, and we can prepare us an answer for that at the next meeting.
Okay.
I'm not aware of any list. I have not been told of a specific client, and I will get back to you. And as far as Mike, on your question, as far as delivery time, we can certainly restrict the time for delivery, and that can be in the lease also. I know that my father had a business in Centerbrook, and any delivery would interfere with his, he had a retail business, and any delivery would interfere. So his delivery trucks were restricted to like 7 to 9 in the morning, or 7 to 9 at night. So that can be done.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else on the commission?
I don't know, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you,
Yes,
Jane.
Jane.
Okay, so back to this original idea that we have more than use on a property. And I get the answer that this is a commercial zone, so we get to do certain things in a commercial zone that you couldn't do in other zones. But all the multiple uses always are in commercial zones. To me, there's still another analysis the commission had to go through, which is this intensity of use with 36 potential different uses, because there's 36 spaces for rent, is that appropriate considering what the neighborhood is of this property, and that these are potentially bigger buildings and more intense use of this property than is appropriate under a special exception. So we are considering that, as well as, whether it's one uses or two. And I really thought that we were getting something in the statement of use that limited the total number of uses, but I see it has not been done. Because there's the opponents of this application are all the residential uses that surround it, and they're speaking up for a particular reason. They're thinking that this particular use and the intensity of it is going to have a negative impact on what they have, their homes and other things. So the commission is actually considering not what is the maximum use of the property, but what is the appropriate use of the property. So I'd like Mr. Doan to comment on that, because you can't just excuse everything by saying it's a commercial zone. You have to say, how, in what way have you made this tailored to the particular area where you wanted to build it?
Okay. And we, the reason I brought that up and the reason I mentioned the commercial C30 zone is that is indeed what we are in. And we recognize that this requires a special permit approval from the commission. And you obviously have the last say or whether this is appropriate or not. My client feels that there's a demand for this type of space. It was brought up at the last meeting, not by us, but I think by a commission member, that to try to find a rental unit that will house a landscaping business, you need to look outside of Old Lyme. And we don't feel that we are overbuilding the site. If you feel that the use needs to be pared down or defined so that it does not overrun the site, we'll revisit the language. But it was, I think, Jane, you brought it up that the multiple uses were not allowed, and they are certainly allowed, but they're allowed under a special permit, and that's what we are seeking. If it's too intense, we can pare it down further with our in our statement of use to until we get some comfort level, if you will, for the commission.
So is there any lower limit that your client is unwilling to go beyond in terms of the number of uses and the size of the buildings? I know it's hard to reveal that kind of information, but
I don't have any. Again, we don't have a secret agenda with this. What you see is what we are proposing, and we would love to have the units filled by a landscaper who has one truck and goes out and does one job a day, and electrician who stores his equipment here, and there may be 2 or 3 employees, and they park there and they go in and get their truck and leave the site. We would love to have that, and that is our intent. And some of the units we did not want to preclude storage, so that's why we included storage, because the smaller units set themselves up for storage. The facility that I did identical to this in Essex, the majority of the units came out to be at least double units going all the way through the building. So they had multiple access points, and those are small contractor businesses. And that's what we're trying to do, is get the contractor businesses back in the town of Old Lyme, give them some spaces to use. And if this is too intense, but you know, we to imagine that it's going to be a 24-hour truck terminal or something like that is just not what we're envisioning, and we'll tailor the statement of use so that that fear is removed from possibility.
I would just add that I know the commission is asking to come back with some modifications previously discussed. I would just say it's unfair and perhaps inappropriate to ask the applicant to revise their business plan. I'm sure the applicant, the owner of this property, has come up with the 10,500 square foot buildings, has estimated the building costs, the operating expenses, the insurance, the taxes, and has realized that they need this to make this plan economically viable for them. So I don't think the applicant needs to come back and say, we'll just put 2 buildings in or 1.5 buildings. This is the plan. It's a C30 lot. This is their plan. I think it's unfair to ask the applicant to minimize their business plan and draw less of a profit. They have a right to utilize this property to the maximum potential, and they're in it to make money. So I think it's unfair to ask them to go back and draw down this plan. The plan either lives or dies as it is. So I don't think they need to come back with a lesser impact plan.
Well, Mr. Miller, I don't want to take issue with you, but I don't think that our commission's job is to allow maximum use of any site. It's still, that's what the special permit is about, is to sort of tailor uses so that they're not problems. The mere fact that something's a commercial zone doesn't mean that that's a license for maximum use of the property. It isn't.
It's
Our regular
3 acres. They could put 4 buildings on here, 5 buildings. The plan is 3 buildings.
That's
How
if we
long are
say
we going to
so.
keep going back and forth with how big or small this is?
But that's if we say so. That's the type of special permit. That's what a special permit is. And I don't really want to have an argument with you, but I just say that's.
I'm
the
not
level
having an
of
argument with you. I'm laying out what I think is fair to the applicant. So we disagree on this point, and I respect that.
Okay, I'm also going to ask for more information. In all due respect, Mr. Miller, I'm not comfortable with the plan. I'm not asking them to reduce anything. I'm asking for a clearer picture. I believe their plan is ambiguous and there's wiggle room, and I just want to get a comfort for that. So, and I'm asking the applicant, and I'm saying this when I look at regulation 13B, 4.4, 4.5, 4.13, it has to fit the neighborhood. There's no precedent in the area on 156 for this facility that I just can't get my arms around, and I want to be able to get my arms around it. I just want to be able to feel that I understand it, and I just feel as if right now I don't understand it. So I would like some more information, and I'm not strapping the applicant. There's no decision that's been made, but I'd like more information.
Understood. Mhm.
Go ahead, Bob, are you speaking? I'm sorry.
No, I was just responded one word, understood.
Again, I think
I mean,
all of us just want to understand a little bit more. And we have to also take into consideration the concerns of a beach community. I mean, I'm looking at this facility opposite a road of beach community where all I see are maybe a restaurant or two, a greenhouse, an ice cream shop, and then I see this. So I just want to understand it. I want to be fair. I want to be fair to the applicant, to you. I want to be fair to the commission, and I want to be fair to the residents. And I just don't understand enough or have a warm feeling. So when I use the word ambiguous or wiggle room, I don't use them in the definition as much as not having a comfort zone.
Okay,
I would suggest personally, feedback.
Yes.
I think it might be worth a few of our members worthwhile. Have any of you guys driven by like what they're modeling this after over on Plains Road in Essex? Has anyone seen that? Has anyone been through the business park in Plains Road where this is based duplication? Mr. Doan, I believe he said he's the one that used this basis of plans from the Plains Road development. But the reason I'm saying is it might be worthwhile for some of our commission members to actually go drive through the Plains Road development and see firsthand if this is the type of demographic or the type of people they're planning on bringing in as far as go drive through there in a busy day and see how busy it is or how not busy it is. Or in the evening, go drive through and see if there's deliveries going on. They'll give you a real world picture of this scenario because this concept exists in other places and it's functional in other places. So it'd be good to just see what it would be like. That's just my suggestion.
And I don't think we're contesting that as much as just trying to understand it. And does
Yeah,
it
no,
fit? And does it fit in this particular physical location?
I get it.
I mean, I totally understand the aesthetics of the facility, which is, in my estimation, extremely nice.
Yeah.
But I need to understand the workings of it. That's all.
Yeah, no, I get that. And my other feedback is all right. If we as a commission watch this plan, we think this, and some of us might think that this plan is intense. Well, what's to come after this? You know, so I'm over on Plains Road in Essex, another Plains Road. This what is it, the Station Apartments? That's 3.5 acres of land, and they have probably over 100 units in those 3 buildings. Or some. I'm just trying to look online to get an idea of the scale based on the size in comparison to other developments. Obviously, it's a different town. I understand it's not. They do have residential around them, but not to this, this extreme. I'm just saying, if we're going to turn down this application, we should be concerned about what's going to come after it as a more intensity under affordable housing criteria, which would then supersede us in any control that we might have if they're able to meet public health and safety codes.
Okay, I don't think we're intimating any decision here or whether we're going to approve or disapprove. I think we're still in fact-finding mode and understanding mode. And that's where I want to hold it at this point.
okay.
If there's no intimation of any decision.
I'm not insinuating there is. I'm just having the dialogue that we should
Okay.
think we can consider too.
Okay, thanks.
Michael, if I could, or if I could respond to Michael's comments.
Sure, go ahead, Bob.
I agree. It's fortunate that we do have a facility like this up and running. And it would be advantageous to swing by. It's opposite Essex Savings Bank is a landmark. It's on the opposite side of that. And just drive through and see the facility. That has same number of buildings, similar size units, and it has outside storage. And since that has been in existence, I've received 0 complaints about it. It seems to work. This model seems to work. So that's what we're pursuing, and it's nice to be able to say that there is one you can go look at.
Specifically, Bob, where is that? Is that on 154?
It's on Plains Road in Essex. If you go to the train station, it's Plains Road goes right by the train station. And it's in between 154 and 153, actually.
Okay,
It's the road you would take over to Westbrook.
Yeah.
okay. Okay,
Is that 24 hours? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
okay. Anyone else in the commission?
Well, I'd like to ask
Comments?
whether
Go
he,
ahead.
whether Dan was able to look up any particular things about the size of the buildings.
Jane, so I did a search of 10,000 square feet in the zoning regulations, and the one thing I did see, and I'm not sure if this is what you're referring to, was there is a limit on the size of retail buildings that can be constructed on any given lot. In the C10, it's 10,000 square feet, and in the C30, I believe it's 5,000 square feet. But per the statement of use, no retail sales are involved, so that particular restriction would not apply. I did talk to Matt Willis, the zoning commission attorney, regarding this. And since business service establishment does not have a similar clause or not described in that way, there wouldn't be a restriction like that placed upon this particular use.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else on the commission? Okay. So just so that I don't lose this, for the next meeting, Bob, these are kind of questions for you. You're going to meet with Tom Metcalf, and Tom Metcalf will provide us with his input. Is that correct?
That is correct.
We're waiting for a DOT response or an update or something from them.
That is correct.
And I believe Mike, Mr. Miller has asked for a draft use on a lease, which would detail the handling or the prohibiting of hazardous materials.
Yep, that's correct.
Did I miss anything?
Let's,
And hours on the lease if there's going to be restriction with respect to delivery and hours of operation on the lease as well.
All right, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Maybe a no idling.
Thanks, Mike.
and don't we have something from Ledge Light?
Yes, that will need an approval from Ledge Light. The Department of Transportation will render an opinion. They will not give a permit until town approval.
But they will render an opinion first.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, anyone else?
So Bob, will you and your applicant consent to the idea that the 10,000 square foot limit on the buildings that now means that there shall be no retail on the site is more than just in your statement of use? That it's actually a regulatory requirement?
Yes, yep. Mhm.
Okay.
We have absolutely no intention of retail on the site.
Anything more?
I'm sorry, I also heard that town emergency personnel needed to respond regarding health and safety concerns.
Yeah, if I could ask a question on that, and maybe Dan can answer this. Is this referred to the fire department and
I don't believe it has at this point now, but I can I can refer it to the emergency management and fire marshal Dave Roberge if the commission wants me to.
Yes.
He would review the permit when it was built, but in this particular instance, I didn't have him review this.
I think the the question was brought up with regards to the access and the circulation inside. I think if the fire marshal or fire chief, I think it's fire marshal, could comment on the access for fire lanes, etc.
Yeah, but I'll just have him do a full blown plan review and provide a memo.
Yep, that would help quite a bit. Thank you.
Yeah, that would have to be, that would be good, Dan, please. Okay, Commission, one last time before I ask for public comment. Anything else from the commission? Until next time.
It's just a point of order. We'll need why can't I think of the word? The 35 days on the public hearing will be up on this, so we'll need a agreement and a letter from the applicant asking for an extension.
Okay. As a matter of record, I will grant that extension. So it's a matter of record, but I'll get you a written extension also, Dan.
Okay, yeah, so it'll be to the July 12th meeting.
July 12th? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So if the commission is good for now, I will open it up to public comment. If you are going to speak, please, your name, address. And I would like to ask you one more thing, and I know this is a very emotional topic, but if it would help us tremendously, it would help the commission tremendously if you could limit your comments to data rather than feelings. Having hard data is better for us to understand. So with that being said, who would like to speak? Name and address first, please.
Mr. Chairperson, if I may,
Yes.
this is Richard Byer, 24 Liberty Street.
Okay.
Let me preface my comments by indicating that I've been a property owner there for 20 plus years. I also have a primary residence in Farmington, Connecticut, where I have served for over 8 years as a commissioner on the zoning as well as zoning appeals. So I'll give a little background, and I truly appreciate Chairman Orzel, your comments. I understand where you're coming from and the struggles that you are having. Frankly, in Farmington, and I don't know how different it is from Old Lyme, we probably wouldn't have entertained this application as ambiguous as it is, and we requested the applicant to be much more specific. Having said that, I think one of the great concerns is the size of the individual units and the fact that each one requires a bathroom. I think there would be a level of comfort for anyone who is opposed if there were perhaps a public restroom for each unit at best, without a shower, in that there is no retail, and it sounds like a service, perhaps landscape is being suggested. And I will tell you that there is much public sentiment as to the usages of these facilities as a cleanup after a beach day, a boat, suggested having large boats in there, among other usages. And again, with regard to Chairman Orzel, I think you walk a very delicate line, and I appreciate that. And I, again, further appreciate that you haven't suggested that the tenant is using this for one thing or another, but there's a lack of specificity, and the ambiguity of this entire application appears to be at the moment unacceptable. And that doesn't even address the entryway directly across from Flagler, which is the point of exit of Miami Beach, where if you were to take a left-hand turn heading towards back to 95 or the Baldwin Bridge, you have a very difficult time with no one coming from across the street. So I'll leave it at that. And I, as I said, I think the commission has done a tremendous job. I'd also like to applaud Ms. Marsh. I think your questions from last meeting were, again, spot on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barr. Anyone else?
Yes, my name is Alfred D'Arena.
Welcome.
I just want to, I live at 10 Venetian Drive here in Miami Beach. We've been here for over 30 decades. So there's been quite a history that myself and my family have been through here. Something that stuck out for me was at one time they were trying to put housing of some sort across somewhere where this location is, and the commission denied that for, I guess, many reasons. What I want to say also too is I just want to thank you guys for your services for the town of Old Lyme, and I really appreciate that. But I want to mention, I don't know if you ever been here when there was an accident on 95 and 156 was, they detoured the traffic down 156. And getting out of Flagler, I mean, it was like impossible, just totally impossible. There's a curve that goes towards the pizza houses there that you barely can see around the corner when you're coming out, as it is now. Being a senior, I try to walk the 156 like 3 times a week, and it's scary to do that. I can't imagine tractor trailers unloading and loading, and then I hear commercial property. Does that mean landscapers, plumbers, electricians, they're going to have vehicles, lawnmowers filled with gasoline or propane tanks filled with propane? I guess those are my concerns. And there's a bus stop on the Flagler corner that the kids go. They walk up from the beach to the bus. And how does that impact us here as residents or the families that live here? So again, I just want to, I commend all of you guys just to listen to this. And I think it's outrageous. I totally disagree with it. I am opposed to it. And I'll end with that. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Mr. D'Arena. Anyone else? Anyone else from the public for comment?
Yeah, Carolyn Morand.
Hello?
Hello?
Address, Carolyn?
2 Biscayne Boulevard.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to thank the commission for all that you do. However, I'm very disappointed to hear not much change and not much more specific information concerning all of the questions that you asked last time. That just kind of puzzles me. It sounds like there's a lot of hedging going on. I also I'm very concerned that it's just not an appropriate place to put such a monstrosity in a beach community where we residents have lived for years and years and years and years and have enjoyed peace and quiet, except for the traffic on 156. I have a couple questions. How many total parking spaces will there be? What types of vehicles will be allowed to park? Are there going to be spaces for commercial vehicles, for cars, for overnight parking, for boats in dry dock? That's a big question of mine. It's near the railroad tracks. Any possibility ever that there'll be some kind of a connection to rail? You just never know. Also, along Route 156, right near Route 250 Shore Road, there are already some landscaping businesses. There's one on the corner of Cross Road and 156. There's one a couple hundred feet down. It's owned by Donald Longo. There's another landscaping business down the road near Hallmark Ice Cream Company. So to say that, we can't, there's nowhere for people to go, a lot of of business people are very ingenious and they have their own places already in use. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I just strongly oppose it some more and again, and so do all my residents. At least 107 people in the area sign that petition so that you will hopefully deny this proposal as it stands. It's just going to be a severe adverse impact on the quality of our life in the neighborhood at Old Lyme. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Miranda.
Yes.
Anyone else? Anyone else in the audience commenting, public comment on this application? Okay, if there is no more public comment, I will take a motion that this application and public hearing be continued next month into July. Have a
Also
motion?
move. So
Who was
move.
that? Jane?
Second.
Okay. Saying second by Alan, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion passes 500. Okay, until next month.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob.
Have a good evening.
You as well. Okay. Lost my agenda. How fast? Okay, public hearings. Our first public hearing was on the continuation. Okay, public hearings now. Special permit to change usage of site from retail to food service, which includes a retail market with local farm produce, artisan food products, sandwiches, salads, and coffee on property located at 96 Halls Road, Shelley DeProto applicant. Madam Secretary.
Yes, sir. So, let me see. Okay, well, you read the legal notice, so I won't do that again.
Okay,
We have Exhibit A, which is the special permit application. It was dated May 5th, 2021, along with a statement of use and all that stuff. The survey from 1979 and a site plan from 2021. The legal notice is Exhibit B. Exhibit C was letter and email to applicant dated May 26th regarding meeting date and time with legal notice. And Exhibit D are some certified mail receipts. And that's it.
okay. Okay, do we have the applicant here?
Yes.
Okay. The floor is yours.
I'm not quite sure what to say.
Well, why don't you start off by reviewing with us what it is that you would like to do and how you would go about doing that.
Okay. Well, it used to be a garden center, the property. And my partner is a farmer. And we thought that it would be a great idea to be able to have the public have access to all of the produce and items that other farms produce as well, right there in one spot, and be able to utilize those ingredients to do sandwiches and salads for people to grab and go, some coffee. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. There's nothing more involved than that.
Sir, you're muted.
Thank you.
Thanks, Walker.
No problem. And if I might just chime in, sir, to the board. My name is Walker Potts. I'm the co-applicant on this project. I'm farming currently up on Tantamaheg Road off of 156. And something we've really thought would be a great application for this property and a great use of the site would be to create a food hub that brings folks in the town closer to their food sources, inspire a little bit more integrity in the food supply chain, get the end user in touch with their farmers, and get the create a hub where local businesses, chefs, farmers, and food lovers alike can all rally around good locally produced food and create a link for all of our farmers to the direct end consumer. So thank you very much.
Okay, so if I'm looking at this, one of the questions that I have is, are you going to be bringing in local suppliers? And if you're bringing them in, are you doing this on a weekly basis, on a daily basis? Is it outside? Is it inside? Just a little bit more about that plan.
It would
Yes,
be
sir.
local, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go
Walker.
ahead, Shelley.
Okay, it would be local suppliers, and as far as on a daily basis or a weekly basis, it would depend on what they're growing and when it's available. So a lot of that is up to Mother Nature. Hopefully we'll have a steady stream, but it's a tiny little place, so we can only accommodate so much. But I would say several times a week, you'll see a farmer drive up with a truck full of goods, and then at that point we would take it and either turn it into sandwiches or salads or what have you, and we would also prepare foods with that.
And sir, if I can chime in there just to give you a little bit more insight in terms of the vehicular traffic and what our supply chain would look like from a practical standpoint. The farm that I run up here on Tantamaheg Road, we're fairly small. We're on shy of 20 acres, about 9 arable acres of land, 4 of which are in production. We put out about 2 pickup truck loads, regular 6-foot bed, 8-foot bed size pickup truck per week to customers locally here in Old Lyme and over to Old Saybrook. I think looking at the throughput for what we'd be looking to bring into Long River Local, which is the name of the project here, would be probably no more than 5 pickup trucks a week, which would probably blend in, harmoniously with whatever other traffic would be there for as customers. So there's on the southwest side of the property, or the west side of the property rather, there's a small garage there which would be using as a harvest shed. So essentially a farmer would come on in, drop off their boxes of, say, Brussels sprouts or broccoli or whatever it may be, and pull straight back out, just like any other customer would. And that would be where we'd process the vegetables. We might do some light composting on site, do some educational workshops, but there'd be very few, if any, trucks larger than a pickup truck or a small box truck.
So that clears up a picture for me. This wouldn't be an open air farmer's market. The farmers or your farm produce suppliers would simply be providing input to your process to sell as a finished dish of some sort.
Yes, sir. And I think we'd like to see some sort of a farmer's market capability in the future, so that the farmers could have some face time with the end user. But at the moment, we're just not set up for it. I think we'd have to look at clearing some space on the property and actually, putting in the infrastructure to do that. But we're probably a good couple of years off of doing that, just in terms of generating the business, feeling how the local townsfolk feel and all of that sort of stuff. So it's right now it'd be small retail use, not in the context of a farmer's market. I think if we did eventually do a farmer's market, it would be probably similar and smaller in scale than what you would have seen at Ashlawn Farm 2 years ago.
because the property is significantly smaller and it's on busy Falls Road and parking
Yes, sir.
and
Yes, sir.
things of that nature. So right now, this is just, you're really proposing more of a takeout food type, locally fresh type organization.
Yes, sir. I think Shelley, from my standpoint, I would see it as an extension of my farm for a local produce retail market where we could sell ours and other local farmers' produce. And I think from Shelley's standpoint, with the more food background, she would probably highlight some of the prepared foods and what would be the byproduct of what our seconds from the regular farm produce and grab and go prepared foods would be.
Okay. Did I see something in here about a chicken coop?
Yes, sir. We're hoping to provide all of our breakfast sandwiches with eggs that we've harvested on site. And if not, I'm 2 miles up the road here, and I've got 100 chickens, 40 of which are eagerly awaiting a new home.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about the plan here about the buildings and what you're proposing, because I see modifications to one. I see an addition to something in a shed to the back one.
Yes, sir. The shed there in the back would be a shed used primarily for storage and storage and all that during construction. It would be shared use for packaging and general inventorying, as well as the other side of that shed would make up the bulk of the chicken coop if approved. So we built that shed so it could serve two purposes. And then there's a small it looks like it's about 6 by 10 foot shed there that's kind of 45 degrees to the primary structure on the building. That would likely, I think we're actually just going to pick it up and move it to the back of the building if possible. You can pick it up with a forklift. It's about the size of a small pickup truck bed. And then and then there'd be a small deck that we're adding to the back of the building, which is if you look on the right hand side of your drawings, you'll see where there's a proposed deck, and that would basically connect. It would expand out a little bit of working space for us to be able to process post harvest veggies, and also have a little outdoor operating space and access to a little walk-in fridge that we'd be hopefully putting right there against the building on that structure.
Okay.
Excuse me.
One more question before I open it up, and it's about the chicken coop again.
Yes, sir.
Whereabouts are you planning that chicken coop? And before you answer, I'm also glad to hear that the chickens will be participating in this process and not committed to it. So that's very good.
Thank you very much. I think part of it would be for the soil health down there to regenerate some of the earth that's been neglected for a long time. Part of what we'd like to do is actually function in some capacity as a food hub and educational role, so we can teach kids about where their food comes from, get them involved in composting workshops and planting workshops and things like that, and also a little bit of animal husbandry on a pretty light scale. With I know my son loves to feed the chickens and pick up the eggs and all that sort of stuff, so we're hoping that we could share some of those same experiences with the community.
What size? Go ahead. Continue.
The chicken coop as proposed, I believe, is 10 by 16 foot. And we'd fence in a little bit of a run to give them some outdoor space to play. But it'd be modeled much after the small coop that I have up here on the farm. And chickens don't take up a whole bunch of space. They kind of purr a little bit here and there. We're not going to have a rooster bugging anyone at 5 a.m. And it should be pretty light use.
The question just from my own edification. Will the chickens be bothered by the noise of the highway, or just the being in more of a hubbub of an area?
I think chickens, from my observation and experience with them, they're pretty simple-minded creatures, and they're pretty well adjusted to wherever they end up. So I don't think they'd be too upset by it at all.
Okay. How many
I'm not,
parking?
that being said, I'm not a chicken, so I can't speak for all of them, but I
Right.
think they're fairly passive.
It makes me more concerned about the type of sandwiches you're gonna make.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mike, as I said, they're participating. They're not committed.
Yeah, we're not doing meat birds, and I think usually the chickens end up living out their happy life, and we can't tell the difference between the ones that are still laying and they aren't. So we treat them all as though they're still productive.
How many parking places are you proposing?
At the moment, we've got 10 on the plan, sir. And I think that seems to be sufficient based on our traffic projections and our customer projections. But there is quite a bit of space if you look on the west, so on the bottom of your drawing, which would be the west side of the property. Basically to the south of the existing garage, we could keep stacking parking out back there that wouldn't impede anything as far as I can tell. Wouldn't interfere with the road. It would actually be getting further away from the main road. We might, if that were the case, we found ourselves needing more parking, to expand our crushed stone area back there. But I think 10 would probably be. I'd be happy if we were filling up 10 spots.
And I tried to read this. Is there going to be anyone living in the property?
No, sir.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
Shelley will be busy there, but I think she's got another place to sleep.
I'll sleep in the chicken coop.
Okay, members, I've taken up enough time.
I just have a question. Is the existing building, the main existing building, are people going in there to buy things?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So it would be much like a very small version of coffees. We're selling more produce and more grab and go food, less big prepared foods type stuff. But it's a fairly small space. I think we're sitting just shy of 800 or 900 square feet. So some of that would be eaten up by kitchen, and then there'd be probably about 400 to 500 square feet of retail space.
No sitting down though.
No, ma'am.
No. So it's
We'd
a
like
counter of some.
Yes, ma'am. We've got a counter going in that would be for checkout purposes and an interface between the kitchen and the customer, but no seating area. We'd like to make some space for picnic tables outside if someone chose to sit down outside after they've grabbed their stuff or to have a cup of coffee. But we haven't settled on any seating arrangements or anything like that inside. Certainly not like a restaurant.
See, your statement of use is very brief. And as you talk, I can hear that there's all kinds of future plans or thoughts. And you got to realize that when you get a statement of use and you show us a plan like this, that's what you're actually getting approval for. So I want you to be clear about that. You're right now saying we're going to have a counter in there and we're going to be serving already prepared food, and people are leaving with it right there on the spot. They're not going to stay there and eat it.
Yes, ma'am. We have no intention of it being a restaurant whatsoever, ever. Period. We don't want to be running it as a restaurant at all. And the intent is fully to have it be takeaway foods. There's a counter, no indoor seating, no. The game plan is not to have. I'd like to, and I'm not sure if this is the case, but we'd like people to feel welcome to stay and finish a coffee if they've purchased a coffee and things like that. But I think before we get there, we'd be, speaking to the zoning commission to make sure that we're set up to do that.
Right, because as you add tables, then you have to add parking spots. It's if people don't leave, if they stay, then and you're successful, then you end up.
Oh boy, we lost Jane again.
I think I get where she's coming from on that one, and I think we're not anticipating any permanent seating or anyone's hanging out. I think it's a grab and go as our model.
Well, I think what Jane is trying to impress is that the statement of use right now should encompass what you're looking to do immediately or within the near future. if you had any expansion plans or looking to go into as she said, a sit down, things of that nature, that's another application back to the zoning commission.
Right.
Yes, sir. Understood. And I don't think we're prepared, from a business standpoint to get into that. It's not in our business plan at the moment. But I think we'd be absolutely prepared to come back to the zoning commission if the first, few months or year of this is successful and we do determine that it would be the right thing to apply for a change of use or whatever would be necessary to make sure that we could accommodate that.
Okay, so I think that's what Jane is saying. Make sure that your statement of use is clear enough for what you want to do right now. Oh, there's Jane. You back, Jane? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I've been able to hear you all along.
Okay, so go ahead and clarify what I just said, if you'd like.
Well, yeah, it's that we don't have any drawings of what's going on in that building, but I'll take his word for it and ask him to include it in his statement of use that it's going to be a counter and that people are going to grab and go.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. And and just from a practical standpoint, if we put any tables in there, we wouldn't have room for anything else. So there's no tables going in there at all.
If I may make a comment, Walker, this is Michael Burns. It's
Yes, sir.
okay if you do include, it shouldn't be a problem in my eyes if you wanted to include in your statement of use the ability to put picnic tables outside, because you might want to make sure if you want that ability that you're asking for it now, as opposed to having to come back later and ask for the ability to put picnic tables outside. Because to me, it seems realistic that I would go to your facility, I would want to get something from inside, and if it's a nice day, you guys got some beautiful trees, it's a gorgeous lot, go out in the back, sit on a picnic table and enjoy my food, watch the chickens, let the kids run around for a hot minute, and then get in the car and go. We'll take whatever we're going to take with us to go as well. But the opportunity to have the picnic table sit there, in my opinion, should be part of your application right now, just so you don't have to come back and ask for it later because you want to stick a couple picnic tables outside.
Copy that. I mean, is that a modification to the statement of use we can make, I mean, right now? If we say, hey, we'd like to make a revision to the statement of use to accommodate 3 picnic tables outside, is that something we do right now, or is that something we do in a month at another meeting, or how does that work?
So my only concern is if you amend what you're doing to include tables outside for food, I don't think you can get an approval tonight, because we have to run that by the health department, and I know you guys are looking to move forward sooner rather than later. So I think at this juncture, because you'd like to ideally get approval tonight if that's what the commission deems is necessary, I wouldn't make any changes, because we'd have to update your site plan to include more parking. Plus, we'd have to run it by the health department, and we just wouldn't be able to be done tonight.
Copy that. Well, thank you very much, Dan, and thank you very much, Mike, as well. I think we'll stick with our current statement of use, and if we get feedback from our customers saying they'd like a spot to sit down, then we can cross that bridge, put in an application, and make sure we go through the right channels to do it. Thank you very much, though, both of you, all of you.
Anyone else on the commission?
I think it's great.
So, are we ready to close this public hearing for right now?
I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Paul, did you want to see if there was any public comment?
Yeah,
first?
you jumped ahead of me, Jane. Is anyone out in the audience that would like to comment on this in the public? Okay. That being said, Ms. Marsh has motion for a close to the public hearing. Is there a second? Is there a second?
A second.
Oh, Tammy second. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes 5-0-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Hey, Paul.
Yes.
In moving to the second item, I know I had talked to you about this before. We do have the engineer, Greg Fettis, on the line for the application for 12 Tanamahaig. Greg, do you want to kind of give your take on what's going on, or what do you want to do?
Sure. Yes. My name's Greg Fettis with Fettis Engineering, an office at 70 Essex Street in Mystic, Connecticut. Also on the line or on the meeting is George Frampton, who's the property owner. So I feel we noticed the abutters correctly. We did proof of mailing or certificate of mailing, and Dan called this afternoon and said we needed to have return receipt requested, which is the green cards. I looked at the regulations. The regulations just say proof of mailing, which is what we submitted. I have, if I could share my screen, I have that section of the zoning regs highlighted, if that's helpful. Is that all right to share my screen? Just to.
Yeah, Greg, go ahead. Calling user 9, I'm going to have to mute you if you don't mute yourself, please. If you're on the phone, please mute yourself.
So just, this is the assessor's map or GIS. This is our parcel 12. We have one adjacent property owner to the south and then a couple across the street. Going to switch to the, so this is the certified mailings. Let me grab the,
Well, Greg, that's the certificate of mailing.
yeah, that's proof of mailing.
That's the certificate of mailing. Yeah, that's the impasse, is because the letter says certified mail and that's certificate of mail. So
Well, but the regulations, Dan, pardon me, the regulations do say proof of mailing. They don't call out
right,
certified.
Right. I'm just clarifying what the letter said that we sent to you.
Yeah. Let me just pull up the section in the. Oh, here we go. Can you guys see that? Notice to abutting owners, applicants shall also notify all abutting landowners of record as disclosed by the assessor's records of the date, time, and place of the public hearing of the commission at which said special permit is to be considered no less than 10 days preceding the date of said hearing, and shall submit proof to the zoning enforcement officer of such notification. So we did that. What I had up before is proof that we mailed those signed by the postmaster that we did mail to those 4 abutting property owners. So I guess
I guess the question posed to the commission is if this is sufficient notice. You know, traditionally you guys have required the certificate of return and receipt, those green cards. This is something that we were talking about moving to, but you know what has been traditionally accepted as proof is the return receipt, and so the letter that we send out requests certified mail. But so it's the question, I guess, to the commission whether you feel this is sufficient to move forward with the public hearing.
I've seen this thing before, and we have accepted this before.
Yeah, it seems like it meets the burden of proof.
Okay. Is that the feeling of the commission? Anyone have any opposition to that? Okay. Then we will accept and go ahead. We'll accept and proceed to the next public hearing. And that is special permit to construct a 600 square foot, 20 by 30 foot addition on the southeast side of the property located at 12 10th Mogg Road. Greg Fettis, Fettis Engineering applicant. Madam Secretary.
Right, at 12 Tantamaheg Road. We have Exhibit A, which is a special permit application dated May 7th with a statement of use. There's some photos, house elevations, etc. Site plan dated April 9th, 2021. The legal notice you just read is Exhibit B. Exhibit C is letter and email to applicant regarding zoning commission meeting date and time with the legal notice. Exhibit D is the certificate of mailing that we were just shown. And Exhibit E is the letter from J.H. Torrance Downs dated June 14th with comments and request for conditions of approval.
Okay,
And Paul, just to start, I want to apologize to Greg. I just got Torrance's letter today, Greg, and I forgot to forward it to you. So unfortunately, Greg hasn't seen Torrance's comments. So that is my fault. I apologize. I should have done that.
okay.
That's, I accept your apology, Dan. Thank you.
So let's turn this over to the applicant. The floor is yours.
Yes, good evening, Commission. My name is Greg Fettis with Fettis Engineering, an office at 70 Essex Street, Mystic, Connecticut. I'm a professional engineer licensed in the state of Connecticut. And I'm just gonna pop up the, am I sharing?
I can see a map right now, and that's,
Yeah, Greg, you look good.
Okay. So it's an existing house at 12 Tantamaheg Road. There's an existing barn as well as an existing house. We're proposing a 20 by 30 addition to the southeast corner of the property. I'm just gonna, so it shows here on the plan, it's set pretty far back towards the rear of the house. I can throw up some photographs. So there's a shot hovering from a drone hovering over the river of the house. So that addition would be kind of in this third tier stone wall area setting back here. As you can see, there's trees located to the left in the photo. There's additional trees to the right. Let me scroll. There's an aerial view of the so that addition is going here again towards the rear of the house in an already grassed area, open to the Connecticut River. Let me spin this one around because it's upside down, if I can do that here. So that's a shot basically from behind the existing house looking out to the Connecticut River. And you could see the trees kind of to the right and a tree to the left there with those stone tiers leading down to the river's edge. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I guess if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Or if there's anything else you'd like me to expand upon.
so if I'm looking at this photo that you have up right now, Greg, that addition is going on to the left of the main building. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's to the left and kind of back, kind of where my mouse is hovering.
Okay. Okay, and
Yeah,
trying to
so
look at
back in this area
looks
here.
like a single story.
Yes, single story.
What is there now in that photo?
What's there now? This where the addition's going?
Oh, looks like,
It's
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong, it's a driveway of some sort?
Yeah, there's a driveway that runs you basically circular around. There's a right of way that runs down for access to the river. And that driveway loops around. See if it shows. Yeah, so you come down Tantum, I don't pronounce this correctly, Tantum Hague, down the right of way, you go onto the that existing driveway here, go between the barn and the house, and then you can exit back onto Tantum Hague.
Is that going to remain after the proposed construction?
Yes, none of that changes.
Okay, but it has to be moved, it would appear.
No, the driveway stays as is. The addition's on the other side. That's the shaded part here.
Okay,
That's all staying in place. The part that's kind of hatched is the part that's actually on our property. This portion is within the right of way. With the public access, I believe it's down
right.
right
I
in
was
this area
looking,
here.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong part of this plan. I should be looking at the bottom piece where the dark area is. Okay, so there's nothing there to move. What is that new addition going to be?
I think it's a great room. One
Okay.
open room.
So even though you didn't get to see Torrance Downs' letter, he is talking about putting some shrubbery up there in front of that facade. Would that be a problem for the applicant?
I would probably let I didn't see the letter, so I assume he's talking about in this area here.
In the front of the new building. Between the water and the building. Yeah, right in there.
I would think that it's, let me just see if I can get to the, I mean, they take really great care of their property. Kind of the natural stuff down by the water, the tiered walls. I'm just not sure that adding a little bit of land, I mean, they have a little bit of landscaping here. Is that what he had in mind? I haven't seen the letter, so I'm not really sure what he has in mind.
In general, what we're reviewing here is the view from the river of the property, and to minimize the built environment affecting the natural view from the river. So in general, their recommendations are that you break that up with a tree or two and shrubbery up against the addition, not asking to do anything with the existing dwelling, but to make it blend in more to the environment, not to be a visual, look at me kind of thing. So it would be asking to plant things that wouldn't obscure their view, but would obscure our view if we were on the river.
Right.
I'd be happy to respond to that if it's appropriate. George Frampton, I'm the owner.
Sure. Go ahead, Mr. Frampton.
Thank you. This is just a family room, which is going to go off a single room, 1-story room, a family room to go off the kitchen with a view of the river. So, we'd be happy to landscape it so that the view from the river is more appropriate. I don't think that's an issue for us.
Okay.
Okay. I think the other thing that Torrance had in his comments were if there's going to be addition of any lighting, it should, outside lighting, it should be dark sky and dark river type lighting, where there's no illumination of the river or the surrounding areas, but that it's downward lighting, dark sky.
That's
fine. We're not interested in lighting the front at all. We're only interested in having the interior space with a view of the river, and the more natural exterior lighting would be, would sort of defeat the whole purpose of this.
Okay.
So I think maybe you could propose a landscaping plan to Dan, sort of as our adjunct, so that we could give the okay to this.
Okay, we would look to make that a condition if possible, with Dan's approval, with our landscaping plan.
Yeah.
We'd be fine with that. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, and the one other thing, and Torrance noted this in his letter. You guys have no plans to cut down any trees, but he just wanted to have that be an additional condition that no trees are going to be cut down. And I know you're not proposing that. He had asked for that. So if it's okay with the commission and the applicant, I would request that we just add that in there for his sake on that.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Commission members, any more comments, questions, concerns? Okay. Is there anyone out in the public that would like to speak on this application? All right, silence is golden. With that, I will take a motion that we close the public hearing on this application for 12 Tantamahog Road.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes 5-0-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Now, the last public hearing is on 50 West End Drive, which I understand is not going to be heard, which will be postponed till next month because of not having everything complete. Is that right, Dan?
It was actually they didn't send out a notice at all. So in this particular, it's deficient notice. So we'll continue this to the next meeting, and we won't open the hearing or anything like that. We'll just have them notice it properly for the July meeting.
Okay. Great. All right. Moving into the regular meeting. Excuse me. Agenda item 1, the 250 Shore Road. We won't address that as that is still an open public hearing. Item 2, the special permit to change the usage of a site from retail to food service, which includes a retail market with local farm produce, artisan food products, sandwiches, salads, and coffee on property located at 96 Hall Road. Shelley DePronto, applicant.
Shelley had to step off, but this is me again, Walker Potts. Let me know what you need from us.
Okay.
Hey Walker, just it's closed to the public, so only the commission can talk to each other. So you're all set. You're just kind of an observer right now.
Copy that. Thank you very much.
No problem.
He's the bad cop. I'm the good cop, Walker. Okay. Commission, our thoughts on this. It's certainly intriguing. If we get a statement of use that's a little bit more detailed for what was discussed, nothing further, no picnic tables or anything else, or is it clear enough the way it is right now? I have no problems. Anyone else?
I think it's a great utilization of underutilized property.
Yeah, I like the idea of what's going to go on. Yeah.
Same.
But for now, no tables.
I have an understanding of what the usage.
Okay.
I like it.
So let's, if we're finished discussing, we can take a vote to approve. There's no conditions that we would want on this at this point?
No.
Okay. So I will take a motion to approve this application at 96 Hall Road.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Okay, the application is approved.
Just for clarification, Paul, I had Alan seconding that. It was kind of Tammy and Alan at the same time.
It was,
I wasn't
it was
really
Tammy and Alan, but I think Alan got the A out before Tammy got her arm up, so
He's quick
Okay,
tonight.
all right.
he's quick. Alan's quick, yeah.
He's
You gotta
quick.
watch him.
I know.
Just when you think he's not, he is.
It's when you think he's not, that's right. He's right there.
Congratulations, Mr. Potts.
Yes.
Yes, we can't wait.
Commission, thank you all very much. We're very much looking forward to getting to it. So we appreciate it very much, and we'll probably be back to you for an application if everything goes well, and we're looking for some picnic tables.
Good luck. Good luck.
Good luck.
Very much appreciate it. Have a great night.
You as well. Okay, the next regular meeting item is the special permit for the 600 square foot addition to 12 Tantamahog Road. Any discussion on that?
Adam Haig.
Sounds Tantamahag. I stand corrected.
I'll
I don't know
start
if that's
making a
actually it. I
motion.
just heard.
Well, then you shouldn't be correcting me if you don't know for sure.
Yeah, it's
Boy, I'm
Tanamahay.
pretty sure.
Tantamahag? Okay.
All
All
right,
right. I'll go with Miss Marsh, you know.
You gotta be from around here.
You're not from around here, are you?
Not for long.
Uh.
I'm happy to make a motion and have the discussion, but I think we should approve this application, subject to a landscaping plan being given to Dan to approve, and subject to the condition that no trees will be built and that there will be no lighting added to the riverside facade of this property.
Okay. Do I have a second on that? Alan, again. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Abstain. Against. Passed. So the permit for 12 Tantamahag Drive Road is approved. All right. How are we doing? Not bad. And the fourth item, which we want to address, is, of course, 50 West End Road.
Mhm.
We have a special permit application to receive and set. This is for importing fill to facilitate the future development of property located at 10 Mashnick Drive. I will take a motion that we receive and set this for public hearing for next month, July. Motion,
Move it.
second,
I'll second.
Ike. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed and abstained. Okay, so this is set, agenda item 5 is set for next month. All right, these zoning regulation changes. Dan, you've got a little update for us on that?
Yeah, I got one thing on that, and then I wanted to maybe address this one first. And this is something I talked to Paul about, but I wanted to run by you guys. So what I've done with ZBA is ZBA had a very similar layout agenda as zoning, and by similar I mean exactly the same. Public hearings would be here first, and then you'd go to the regular meeting. So applications are kind of split into two parts. Now, what I've done with ZBA is I changed that so each application is heard concurrently. So you would have the public hearing for, say, what is it, for 96 Hollis Road, and then you go right into the voting session after the case was closed. I found this was effective with ZBA in at least keeping the continuity of each application from one thing to the next. It worked a little better rather than you hear an application. Then in this case, you would have heard, if we had the full slate, 3 other applications, and then you kind of have to shift gears back to the other application for the public hearing. So what I found is, you're not kind of going over everything again and kind of like I said, shifting gears back to that application, you're simply hearing the public hearing. Once it's closed, then you move into your own, kind of executive session and then vote if you find that's appropriate. I think it would save time, and it does add, in my opinion, a little more continuity to the meeting and the overall hearing process. So, but without your consent, I didn't want to just haphazardly start changing the orders of the agendas that I believe this is how it's been done here for years and years. So I wanted to make sure that I got all of your input and approval if we were to make that change.
Dan, I think the reason that we've been doing it the other way is that we don't want to make applicants pay their attorneys and engineers to sit around while somebody else's application is being considered all the way through the final decision. So we were always being deferential to the hired talent that was waiting around.
I was just thinking the same thing, but the opposite, as far as like, it might save some of these. It just depends where they fall on the agenda at the end of the day, I guess, right? Because in my head, I was thinking the applicants are going to be excited that their engineers aren't going to have to sit there for 4 other meetings. But I guess it all matters in the pecking order that you fall that day.
Well, the thing is that the engineers and the lawyers aren't supposed to say anything during our deliberations. So often those people leave, but the owners stay because they want to see what happens. They want to see the outcome. But the people who are actually doing the presenting don't stay because it costs a lot of money.
So I'll just throw this out. Is it easier for us if we have the public hearing and then the meeting right after? For continuity purposes? Just throwing a question out there.
I would think.
I take notes.
When I read the meeting minutes for ZBA, it seems like it just flows, even then it's subject after subject. It's not break away and then come back in. And you might have some fresh questions after a public hearing that you can discuss. Sometimes they could be lost if we don't write them down. Just asking, that's all. Anyone else want to comment, please?
To me, we're on items that are fairly big, we're likely not to make a decision that same night anyway, and they'll be coming back again. So we always have to take notes and be able to restart on those applications. Smaller ones, it's not that hard to remember what you have to remember by the time they come up for a decision. I don't know, I've never had a problem, but that doesn't mean that everybody hasn't had a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about adding some significant cost to the applicants if we make this change, and I'm not sure that's really, we should jump to that.
Okay. Then we'll stay, if no one has objections, we'll just stay with what we're doing. Any objections to that? Strong feeling to move the other way? Okay, no change. Steady as she goes.
Just we're stuck in the.
Sounds good.
We're stuck in a rut.
Okay. All right. No worries. All right. So we had the special meeting last month regarding the zoning regulations, and we had gone through pretty much everything and kind of gotten a feeling for 5 of the items as to how the commission wanted me to move forward. What I'm going to try to do is, if the commission's available and it wants to entertain this, I was going to try to have the application received at the July meeting, and if you guys are okay with this, we would do another special meeting simply to run through the public hearing for the zoning regulations rather than wait till September. So if the commission, if I can, find a date that works for everybody and a time, and you guys are okay with that, I know I don't want to necessarily impede on your summer vacation plans. I know that's usually your time off, but if you guys, I'm hoping it would be relatively quickly. I think they're mostly non-controversial, but it's really if you guys think that's appropriate.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Just make me fit it in my schedule. I'm on vacation January 1st through December 31st, so I'll
I'm well
try to
aware
make an
of all.
exception and call it in. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you only live on is it Saturday or Sunday for you? I can't remember.
It's Sunday today, yeah.
Oh, your day of rest, right.
Save all my
Okay,
energy
so,
for the
all right.
zoning meeting, yes.
Hey, you earned
Yeah,
it.
all right. Well, you don't have a full house right now, Paul, right? So
That's true, gosh. Well, it was a great, next item.
Yeah, so lastly, the one thing that we didn't get to discuss so much, and I think we could all agree, I think Jane's take on this is important. It was 913 regarding the meeting we had with Jane, Paul, myself, and Attorney Willis. Jane, do you want to kind of reiterate kind of what your thoughts were from that?
Yeah. So here's a case of something that we've got in our regulations that we think we have some power to do. But in the end, when you really consider it from all angles, we probably don't. And it might be a section that we have to eliminate a review power that we have just based on what's happening out there. Because people are coming in for their modifications relating to flood zone, and Zoning Board of Appeal feels obligated to let them do that. And so we really don't need this other layer of review for them to come back here with variances that we almost have no other thing to say about. So I'd be somewhat in favor, as much as it shocks me, to leave that to the Zoning Board of Appeals and not have a second layer review coming back to us, because we really have nothing more to do at that point.
Right.
Makes sense.
So if it's okay with everyone, I do believe there is a portion of that section that we want to keep. I will go through it with Attorney Willis and strike out the things that we feel, aren't kind of go along with Jane's description. I do believe there is one section in there that we do want to keep. So I'll review that with him, and then, I can submit that for the public the application for the text change in July. But I will try to keep you guys posted as to the final document, and I'll coordinate with the zoning chair on that as well, just to make sure we're all on the same page as to what you'll be considering at that special meeting. I don't want to. I'm not trying to surprise you guys or anything like that. It's really just what we had talked about at the last special meeting, and then this right here.
In a certain way, we have to recognize that we have this other commission that is giving a review. We may not always understand why they decide the way they do, but they're giving it a comprehensive review. And so it just seems to me that if they're going to do that level of review, we don't have to do the same exact review.
Right. I think it would be good for us to begin a discussion on this building height for the shore areas before they end up becoming different heights and looking like who can build the highest building. And they're just wavering. We probably should think about that, or start thinking about that.
But that's the kind of thing that we're confronted with, precisely because that's how you get yourself up above the sea level rise or whatever.
Right.
To raise your buildings, and it will be different for each person. So if you allow the Zoning Board of Appeals to do it on a case-by-case basis, if we set a height that is ever not acceptable to any individual, they'll still go to Zoning Board of Appeals.
True.
So, to me, it's very hard to set these types of limits where flood compliance is required. And I would just rather Sort of appeals, let them, they have the weight, and it's not back to us or anything.
Good point. Good point.
As opposed to changing the height now and having them come to us without having to go to ZBA? So
No,
you're
they
saying
Yeah.
you'd
go to
Jane's,
ZBA.
Jane's point is, depending on where you're located, if my property is up more on a knoll and yours is more down in the valley, we both have to get past the height requirement. Well, you know, one may not have to go up as high as the other, or one may have to go higher. So it doesn't really make any sense, because if we say this is the height limit, Jane's point is, then they go off to ZBA and get it. So
So
true.
just for clarification, so we're discussing not changing the height.
We have no, I just happened to bring that up as an aside. We're not even discussing that. No. We're
I got you.
discussing another part of a reg,
Yeah, the 913. Gotcha.
913, right. Okay,
Yeah, I kind of thought we'd get through these easier ones, and if you guys wanted to delve into, I know there
Right.
were a couple other topics out there that were more comprehensive and more complicated and controversial, you know, that we could tackle those kind of individually or, you know, in a pair or something like that. So it's a little more manageable for you guys to tackle.
right. Let's get through these first, and the next one I would like to do is the electric charging stations. That's very important.
Agreed.
We certainly can put it up at top of the list if that's what you guys want to do.
Yes, that'll be the next one after. Let's get these done and approved and rolled out, and then we'll go to electric charging stations. And I
I
think
agree with you that it's important because major automakers are all announcing that they're really stepping up on it.
all of them. Yes, Jane. Yeah. Yep. And I think I've told you, members, I'm not sure, but Tesla is once again breathing down Dan's neck for the same
I
location.
haven't heard from them recently, so we'll
They're
see.
probably-
But yeah,
I'm sure they're somehow stealthily dialed into this meeting because they seem to know everything. So,
but we do publish
Hello-
minutes
hello,
and agendas,
Tesla.
so
okay.
well, yeah. So if that's it, then what I'll do is I'll finalize kind of what I was thinking for the regs, get it over to Matt, have Matt review it, make tweaks based on his comments, and then I'll get that out to you guys, and I'll put together the application with Kim Barrows for receipt in July for a special meeting sometime at the end of July. I'll reach out to you guys with times and dates and see what works best for everybody. I'll try to give you 4 or 5 dates, and hopefully we'll be able to get one. And I will try to avoid, obviously, like double booking Mike or something like that.
That's great. Thanks, Dan. Okay, old business, it's blank. Approval of minutes, the May 10th, 2021 public hearing. Anyone have any comments on those minutes?
I read them and they were okay.
I agree. I've read them as well. Then, if there's no other comment, I'll take a motion that we approve the minutes of the May 10th, 2021 public hearing and regular meeting.
So moved.
I would move to approve those minutes.
Okay, how about a second, Alan?
Okay.
Jane stepped ahead of you. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
I
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, minutes are accepted for May of 2021.
So Alan, if you want to get ahead of me, you gotta get on the phone. At least a couple of seconds in advance if you're on the phone.
I want to get ahead of you.
Alan, you may be on that 7-second delay. You know why they do that, right? So,
Make it 10.
okay, yeah. Correspondence, I'm assuming we don't have anything, and we are at agenda item number. Oh, you took a breath, Dan. I'm not sure. Did we have anything?
Well, I just wanted to comment on, we do have the November 9th meeting minutes done. I just haven't reviewed the draft. Jen has been great in helping out the zoning department in getting us caught up with minutes and doing the minutes, and she's doing a transcript for me. So thank you, Jen.
Thanks,
It's done.
Jen.
It's my
Right.
fault.
It's
It's
amazing.
there. I haven't read the draft yet. So hopefully we'll get that all straightened out next month, and we'll have one set of minutes from here on out.
Thanks, Jen. Okay. Item number 10, the last item agenda, it's called miscellaneous / adjournment. So before I can get to adjournment, I have an announcement. And no, I'm not leaving the commission. Beginning next month in July, we are moving back to in-person meetings at the meeting hall at 6:30 p.m.
All right.
There is now, to be clear, there's something before the legislature, I believe, that is still being talked about, but there could be that there's going to be a requirement for in-person meetings to also be able to have remote connectivity, which means you would also be able to not just listen and answer questions, but to share your documents and things of that nature. And I think that that bill, or at least part of the bill right now, indicates that if you can't do that, then you have to meet on WebEx or continue the way you're meeting. That bill hasn't gone anywhere, according to Dan. So if and when that time comes, next month, July 12th, we'll be in the meeting room of Town Hall, 6:30 p.m. Dan, can you make sure we get that? Because we've always
I'm
been at
assuming
7:30.
that
We've
room is
always,
still reserved for us. I will fight them tooth and nail or to the death or whatever I have to do to get us back in person because
yes.
I'm satisfied with my usage of WebEx for the rest of my life, I think. So
Two.
Did they fix the air in there?
This was fun, but my enthrallment is over. So again, just next month, July, back in the meeting hall. All right. Great meeting. Thank you, everyone, so very, very, very much. I appreciate all your help. Really do.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank
I
you.
will take a motion that we adjourn the July meeting.
Come on, Mike, you got to do something.
Okay, Alan, go ahead. You want to make the motion? Okay,
Hey,
Alan, motion.
I'll
Second?
make-
Second.
Second.
Okay, Tammy, all in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. I didn't hear anybody abstaining or saying no. So good night, everyone, and thank you very, very much.
Good night.
Good night.
All right.
everybody.